Welcome back. It is Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Wild Wednesday. Joining me today is the Great Plains Zoo Education Specialist, Allison Gould, and we have a special guest. Who is this?
Yes, so this is one of our ball pythons. This is Camo. So they are a species found in the grasslands of southern Africa. And she does get that name Camo because they have amazing camouflage, you can probably tell. So they're able to blend in with the ground and the dirt wherever they're moving.
Okay, what are some other fun facts about Camo?
Yeah, so as a python, they have a couple extra special features. So right on the top of their mouth, above on their upper jaw, they have what are called heat pits. So they are able to actually sense the body heat of other animals. So that's what helps them to hunt and find their food. So they can basically feel the heat coming off of other things.
Yeah, she seems really well behaved too. I guess talk about that and, if they bite, what they kind of do for prey.
Yeah, so they mostly eat small mammals, things like mice, but they can also eat eggs that they find from different reptiles, or they can eat birds as well. So to do that, they do have a fairly strong bite, but all ball pythons are pretty chilled out snakes. They are considered an ambush predator, so they usually just sit and wait for food to come to them rather than actively hunting out for their own food. So they are a slower moving snake as well.
Okay, and talk a little bit more about kind of, where they're usually found in the wild and kind of the climate and, where they're at in the zoo.
Yeah, so they're found in more temperate grassland areas, so usually warmer spots. All of our snakes at the zoo, we do house them inside all year. We give them heat lamps to make sure that they're staying warm enough. Right now she's probably taking some body heat off of me too, just to stay nice and warm. But they'll mostly be in those grassland areas where they can hide in the grasses, hide under rocks, or even climb up into a tree if they need one.
Nice. So what are some other, interesting facts about them?
Yeah, so if you see her flicking out her tongue at all, that is how all snakes are smelling. So even though they have a nose, they don't really smell with their nose, they just breathe with it. So every time she's flicking out her tongue, it's to pick up all the different smells in the air, and that's mostly how they find their food too.
Yeah. And then kind of the way that they wrap and kind of what she's doing now, what's the purpose of that?
Yeah, so she's just holding on to me, using me like a tree branch, but that's also what they do to catch their food. They're a constrictor snake. So once they bite onto their food, they curl their body around it to squeeze and hold on. But that's also part of how they get the name ball python. So as a defensive strategy, they'll curl their body into a really tight circle or a ball, and then they'll just tuck their head right down into the center to keep their head protected, just to keep their body safe from their own predators too.
Yeah, and what are some things that the zoo you guys do to make sure she feels comfortable and things like that?
Yeah, we always have hiding spaces available for them, so places where they're able to tuck away and stay safe, those heat lamps again, but also giving them plenty of enrichment. So giving them different smells to figure out what's going on, different tubes or textures where they can just feel things with their body and keep their brains stimulated. Yeah.
Well, I like this distance. I can handle this. I'm terrified of snakes, and she's but they're not, they're not really, she's doing well, so there's not a really big need to be scared of them.
No, and so that's part of our biggest jobs as educators is teaching people about snakes and how incredible they really are and how important they are for their habitats as well. And then tomorrow is actually International Day of Zoo and Aquarium Educators. So that's really highlighting our jobs and what we're able to do to teach people about misunderstood species like snakes and help them to learn more and build their own curiosity and hopefully care more about wildlife conservation as well.
What else will be going on with that then?
Yeah, so we just kind of celebrate it at the zoo amongst our team, and just celebrate other educators around the world too, and celebrate our animals as well.
Yes, when watching, I'm like, okay, maybe she's all right. She's around your arm, but I don't want her on me. And then they, like you mentioned, they are great for the ecosystem. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so a lot of snakes are top predators within their habitat, and so they eat a lot of those pest species like mice. Smaller snakes might eat some insects as well, and so they're helping to maintain the balance of the ecosystem so that those pest species don't become overrun in the habitat, and so they help with natural pest control, which can also help keep diseases down too.
Okay, and where can you find Camo then at the zoo?
Yeah, so she is behind the scenes, but does come out to a lot of our different programming that we do, a lot of our Zoomobile programs, and then the day after, or the Saturday after Thanksgiving, we have our Creative Creatures art show. That'll be at the Butterfly House and Aquarium, but some different animals might make appearances as that as well.
Awesome. Well, I wasn't expecting a snake today, but I'm okay over here, so thank you so much for being here and sharing a little bit about Camo.
No problem.
Stick around, we have more after the break.